So obviously, on the eve of this fight that's going to happen between Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence, I've actually found out that the Terrence Crawford versus Errol Spence fight is not trending, so it's not got as much hype as fights that have happened in the past. Now, I think there's multiple reasons for this. Okay, the main two reasons why I don't think the fight is trending. Well, there's three reasons why I don't think the fight is trending. The first reason is because compared to the fights of the past, Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence just are not as charismatic outside of the ring as they are, as good as they are in the ring. They're not as charismatic outside of the ring. Now, let's just be honest about this. Like, let's be honest, Mayweather and Pacquiao, whatever you think of them, like inside of the ring, they're all-time greats, but outside of the ring, they definitely had personality. Mayweather had like an anti-hero persona, like he was the fighter that you love to hate, and he always used to fight on Mexican holidays because he used that hate to make him commercially successful. Pacquiao was like a man of the people. He used to always like be the son of the Philippines, the guy that was always giving charity. Outside of that, he used to do acting, he used to do singing, he used to have huge sponsorships with Nike. Like, let's just be honest about it. Like, Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather outside of boxing were way more charismatic and popular than Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence. Like, even though they've got some popularity, they're not on the level of Floyd Mayweather or Pacquiao. Even comparing them to fighters of the past that have had super fights in the welterweight division. For example, Sugar Ray Leonard. Sugar Ray Leonard was like this golden boy of the British boxing, not the British boxing, but the US boxing establishment. He won a gold medal in the Olympics, and he became a huge commercial star. Thomas Hearns was this murderous puncher. He was like from Detroit, and he was literally having the city on his back, and literally Detroit loved him, and he was seen. He had an iconic picture with Ring magazine where he was I think he had a machine gun on the front cover. So both of them like had more charisma, were way more popular than Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence. Also, if you look at another super fight between Oscar De La Hoya and Felix Trinidad, Felix Trinidad was the son of Puerto Rico. He had a huge following in Puerto Rico. I mean, he was massive in Puerto Rico. He was the guy that was literally held Puerto Rico on his back, and he had literally a flag of Puerto Rico with him everywhere. This guy was hugely popular in his country. And then if you look at Oscar De La Hoya, Oscar De La Hoya had the movie star looks, and he was a huge commercial draw in boxing. He was one of the biggest pay-per-view draws outside of the heavyweight division for years. So the reason why I don't think the fight is trending is because even though Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence are great fighters, and they're all-time. I'm not saying they're all-time great, but they're pound-for-pound elite fighters. They just don't have the charisma or the popularity of them other fights that were mentioned. Now, another reason why I don't think the fight is trending is because obviously you got this massive UFC event that's going on. So with the massive UFC event going on, back in the past when we were talking about these fights, obviously the UFC was around when Mayweather and Pacquiao were going on, but back in the day, the only fight sport that was really commercially popular was boxing. There was no UFC or MMA, so most of the audience was drawn to boxing. Now you've got more of a choice. You can watch the UFC, you can watch boxing, or you can do what I'm going to do this weekend and watch both. But the fact is, right, there was less choice, so the audience's focus was fixated at one point, which was the big fight that was happening that weekend when Sugar Ray Leonard versus Thomas Hearns was fighting. Imagine now there was another popular sport that was around at the same time. Obviously there'll be less focus on the Sugar Ray Leonard or Thomas Hearns or the Felix Trinidad versus Oscar De La Hoya fight if there was another sporting event going on at that time. Another reason why I think the fight is not trending and it's not as popular as it should be, because it is one of the most important fights of the year and of the decade possibly, is because let's just be honest about it. Obviously this year boxing has delivered and has given us a great fight after great fight, from Josh Taylor to Teofimo Lopez, from Davis to Ryan Garcia, from Lomachenko versus Haney. But generally speaking, boxing in general doesn't deliver on big fights. Like, it's a huge miracle that this fight is happening. Generally it doesn't deliver. So because of that, the audience for boxing has gotten less and less passionate about it. Like it's notoriously known that boxing in the US just does not do as well as it should. Like compared to back in the golden era of the Muhammad Ali's, the Mike Tysons, where like boxing was massive in the US back in the days in the 50s when you had Jack Dempsey and all these great fighters. They literally, boxing was the biggest sport in the world, but right now it's not doing as well as it did in the past. So because of them three reasons, I think that's why the Terrence Crawford versus Errol Spence fight is not trending, and it's not as popular as it should be. There's less hype surrounding it because of them three reasons. There's probably other reasons as well that I forgot to mention, but I think them three reasons are why I don't think it's trending at the moment. So tell me what you think below. What is it that's missing? The thing is, right, what I would say about this fight is, compared to Mayweather vs Pacquiao, it's happening at the right time. Both fighters are near their prime. Both fighters are undefeated, and both fighters are ready to fight. Well, let's be real, with Mayweather Pacquiao, it happened 6 years too late after Pacquiao took 2 losses, and like both of them were older, and Pacquiao lost his snap and his power and speed, and he was a bit more elderly. So tell me what you think below. What do you think about this? Do you think the fight should be bigger than it is, or do you think the reason why it's not as big as it is because of the points that I mentioned before? Tell me what you think below, and like and subscribe to the channel. I've got a lot more